Have you ever considered that what we often call love might simply be a fear of solitude? What if many partnerships are less about genuine connection and more about escaping the quiet within ourselves? The Stoics offered a warning: the chains we choose for ourselves are the hardest to break. Often those chains appear appealing. They are presented as romance, comfort, or stability. But internally you sense something isn't right. Many individuals enter relationships not from a place of strength and wholeness, but from a fear of confronting who they are. They prefer managing another person's issues over sitting quietly with their own. This is how so many people gradually lose themselves, just to maintain the presence of another. Marcus Aurelius observed, "Don't fear death. Fear never starting to live." This is the consequence of being unable to endure being single. You cease to truly live. This discussion isn't about rejecting love or advocating for permanent solitude. It's about reclaiming your personal power. It's about learning to stand firmly on your own so that if you do choose to love, it is a conscious choice, not a desperate need. Authentic love can only exist when it springs from freedom, not from fear. So, before we explore the 10 reasons why staying single could be the most beneficial decision for you, please subscribe. What we are creating here is more than just conversation. It's about providing you with the clarity and strength to live life by your own design. 1. You avoid the wrong attachments. Choosing to remain single offers you one of the greatest forms of protection. You steer clear of the wrong people. Consider how many lives have been altered or even ruined simply by forming an attachment to an incompatible partner. You don't need a malicious person to cause damage. You only need the one who is wrong for you. A relationship with an unsuitable person doesn't just consume your time. It can cost you years of personal growth, your energy, and even your sense of self. When you are desperate for love, you become less cautious. You don't pause to ask, "Is this person truly good for me? Do they respect my boundaries? Do they bring peace to my life or just drama?" Instead, you rush in, hoping they will resolve the loneliness you're afraid to confront. That is when problems start. You overlook red flags, justify their behavior, and slowly you lose your identity. Staying single shields you from this trap. The Stoics held freedom as the highest good. Freedom from being controlled by your desires, and from being chained to others' opinions. When you're single, you possess that freedom. You aren't bound to someone's mood swings, their need for approval, or their toxic habits. You can move through life without constantly managing another person's chaos. Let's be honest, how many people settle for partners who drain them, cause stress, or hold them back, purely from a fear of being alone? Being single empowers you to say no. No to manipulation. No to someone who doesn't appreciate you. No to anyone who seeks to control you. You don't owe explanations for why you didn't text back, why you prefer to stay in, or why you are focusing on your own growth. You belong to yourself. This is a power that too many people surrender just to avoid solitude. Furthermore, when you are not desperate, you become more difficult to deceive. Your perception becomes clearer because it isn't clouded by need. You can distinguish who is genuine from who is fake, who respects you from who only wants to use you. In this way, singleness sharpens your judgment, training you to filter out the wrong attachments before they can cause harm. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." To that, we could add that it also depends on the quality of the people you allow into your life. By remaining single until you are strong, clear-headed, and patient enough to choose wisely, you avoid half the pain that most people endure. Therefore, don't view being single as a punishment. See it as a shield, one that protects your time, your energy, and your soul from those who are unworthy. The reality is, it is better to be alone than to be attached to the wrong person. Every day you remain single, you aren't missing out. You are saving yourself from years of potential damage. That is the first gift of staying single. You keep your life free from the wrong attachments. You safeguard your heart, your mind, and your path. And when the right person does appear, you will be ready, not needy. 2. You have full freedom over your time. One of the most significant advantages of staying single is that your time belongs entirely to you. Consider this. When you're in the wrong relationship, your hours, days, and weekends are negotiated away. You suddenly live on another person's schedule. Where you go, what you do, and who you see must all pass through their filter. If that individual doesn't value your time as you do, you end up drained, frustrated, and constantly behind on your own priorities. When you're single, you reclaim ownership of your time. You can spend your mornings as you wish. You can stay up late pursuing a passion without someone complaining. You can take a spontaneous trip, immerse yourself in a hobby, or simply sit in silence, all without needing permission. This is genuine freedom, the kind most people don't realize they've traded away. The Stoics taught that time is our most valuable asset, more precious than money or status. Seneca stated it clearly, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." One of the primary ways people waste their lives is by giving their time to relationships that do not nurture them. Hours spent arguing, maintaining a false peace, or trying to fix someone else's chaos are hours you will never recover. When you're single, you learn the true power of your time. You see how much you can accomplish when you aren't constantly checking in, explaining yourself, or compromising on every small decision. You can invest that time into building yourself, your health, your mind, your career, your vision. Every hour you invest in yourself compounds, it grows. 1 year of focused personal growth while single can put you far ahead of someone who wastes their time on relationships that hold them back. Freedom over your time also means you don't live according to other people's moods. You don't cancel plans because someone is upset. You don't waste weekends resolving conflicts. Your time is your own, and as a result, your energy remains cleaner, sharper, and more focused. You begin to see how much life opens up when you aren't constantly negotiating how to spend your minutes. Time is the one resource you can never regain. You can lose money and earn it again. You can lose opportunities and find new ones. But once a day is gone, it is gone forever. So ask yourself, how much of your time have you already given to people who didn't deserve it? How many hours have been spent arguing, apologizing for things you didn't do, or waiting for someone to appreciate you? Staying single is your opportunity to take all that time back, to use it in a way that builds, strengthens, and moves you forward. Here is the paradox. When you learn to guard your time fiercely as a single person, you are less likely to waste it when you do meet someone worthy. You will have higher standards. You will quickly recognize who respects your time and who doesn't. And you won't hesitate to walk away from anyone who tries to steal it. So never view your single season as empty. See it as the most valuable period of your life because right now your time belongs fully to you, and how you use it will shape your entire future. 3. You build self-mastery without distractions. When you're single, a powerful shift occurs. You gain the space to truly master yourself. There is no constant drama, no emotional roller coasters, no distractions pulling you from your goals. It is just you, your thoughts, and the discipline to become the person you wish to be. The truth is, relationships can be beautiful, but they can also be noisy. They fill your mind with endless check-ins, worries about another's opinions, and compromises that slowly erode your focus. You lose track of your own priorities because you're busy managing someone else's emotions. While this may feel like love, it often leaves you weaker, not stronger. Staying single removes that noise. You no longer wake up to arguments or go to bed carrying stress that isn't yours. You have the space to ask, what do I truly want? Who do I want to become? And you actually possess the time and energy to do the work. That is self-mastery. The Stoics emphasize this constantly. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." You cannot master yourself if you're perpetually distracted by another person's chaos. Self-mastery involves building unshakable habits. Waking up early because you choose to. training your body, sharpening your mind, learning skills, and creating routines that give you strength. When you're single, there are no excuses. No one is stopping you or pulling you off track. Consider how many people lose years trying to fix toxic relationships. They spend their nights arguing instead of reading, working out, or building something meaningful. They waste mornings recovering from fights instead of starting their day with clarity. They give their best energy to pleasing someone else instead of investing it in their own growth. That isn't mastery, it's a form of slavery. When you're single, every ounce of your energy can be directed toward building yourself. You can decide to hit the gym, to write, to study, to hustle, to meditate. The results accumulate quickly. Discipline compounds. Small wins build confidence, and that confidence makes you unstoppable. Self-mastery is also about emotional strength. When you're single, you are compelled to face yourself. There is no partner to blame for your mistakes, no one to distract you when you feel low. You sit with your emotions, your fears, and your doubts. By confronting them directly, you grow stronger. You learn to calm yourself, to motivate yourself, to bounce back. That is resilience, a quality many never develop because they are always leaning on others. If you cannot master yourself when you're alone, you will never master yourself in a relationship. Relationships test you. They push your buttons and challenge your patience. If you aren't steady inside, you will break. But when you've built strength in solitude, you carry that power with you everywhere. Therefore, don't see singleness as a gap in your life. View it as a training ground, a boot camp for your soul where you sharpen your discipline, master your emotions, and become someone who doesn't just survive life, but conquers it. That is the third truth. Staying single allows you to master yourself without distractions. And once you've built that inner power, no one can take it from you. For you protect your energy from toxic people. One of the greatest benefits of staying single is that you safeguard your energy. Let's be direct. Nothing drains you faster than being tied to the wrong person. Toxic individuals don't just waste your time. They poison your peace. They make you doubt yourself, pull you into constant arguments, guilt-trip you for wanting freedom, and leave you feeling perpetually inadequate. That isn't love. It's a slow death of the spirit. When you're single, you don't have to play these games. You don't walk on eggshells around someone's mood swings. You don't check your phone every 5 minutes fearing you've upset them. You don't carry the weight of another person's chaos. Your energy, your most valuable fuel, remains clean, focused, and entirely your own. The Stoics warned us about this long ago. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." But how can you think clearly when you're surrounded by negativity, manipulation, and drama? Your environment shapes your mind, and nothing influences your environment more than the people you allow close. If that person is toxic, your mind becomes toxic as well. Toxic people don't always appear as villains. Sometimes they come disguised as love, comfort, or companionship. But you feel it deeply. They take more than they give. They demand your attention but never support your growth. They seek control, not connection. If you stay, your energy is consumed by their insecurities. Staying single reverses this dynamic. Gives you a shield. Instead of daily battling their negativity, you keep your circle clear. You choose peace over chaos, growth over drama. You protect your energy as if it were gold, because it is. Once your energy is depleted, your dreams, focus, and happiness begin to fade. Consider the power of waking up without dread. No fights waiting for you, no passive-aggressive texts, no emotional roller coaster draining you before the day begins. Just silence, freedom, and the space to decide how you want to feel and where you want to direct your energy. That is priceless. Protecting your energy isn't just about avoiding bad people. It's also about building the strength to say no. To cut ties when someone reveals their true nature, to walk away without guilt. Staying single teaches you this skill. When you've experienced peace, you become less tolerant of chaos. When you've known clear energy, you won't let anyone pollute it. So, don't think of singleness as being alone. Think of it as being guarded, like a warrior protecting their flame. You aren't letting just anyone walk into your life. You are protecting the most important thing you possess, your inner fire. That is the fourth truth. Staying single keeps toxic people out of your space, giving you the clarity, calm, and clean energy required to build the life you truly desire. The longer you protect that energy, the stronger and more unstoppable you become. 5. You learn to love your own company. Initially, being single can feel uncomfortable. The silence seems heavy. You sit alone and your thoughts become louder than ever. Most people run from this silence. They grab their phones, seek attention, or jump into the first available relationship to avoid it. But the truth is, if you cannot enjoy your own company, no one else will ever fill that void for you. Learning to love being with yourself is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. When you stay single, you are forced to confront yourself, your flaws, fears, and doubts, but also your strengths, dreams, and values. The more time you spend with yourself, the more you realize, I actually like the person I'm becoming. That is when the fear of being alone begins to fade, and authentic confidence starts to grow. Consider the most successful people you admire: artists, athletes, leaders, creators. Many spent long seasons single. Why? Because they knew their mission came first. They weren't distracted by the need to please anyone. They gave their best years to building something lasting. That isn't selfish, it is purposeful. Here is the paradox. When you are deeply focused on your mission, you become more attractive. People respect drive and direction. But more importantly, you respect yourself. You see someone building something real, not someone constantly bending to please others. So don't fear being single. Use it. This is your season to focus, to build, to chase the mission that burns inside you without distraction. When you live for your purpose instead of people-pleasing, you stop wasting your life and start owning it. That is the 8th truth. Staying single lets you focus fully on your mission, not on pleasing others. And that mission, once you commit, will provide more fulfillment than any shallow approval ever could. 9. You develop emotional independence. One of the most powerful aspects of staying single is that you learn to stand on your own emotionally. Most people don't realize how much they lean on others until they are alone. They rely on someone else to feel loved, to be calmed, lifted up, or reminded they matter. But when your emotions are always tied to another, you are never truly free. When you're single, you lack that safety net, and that is beneficial. It forces you to learn how to handle your own emotions. You learn to comfort yourself when stressed, motivate yourself when tired, and pick yourself up after a setback. That is emotional independence, and once built, no one can take it from you. At first it's challenging. Quiet nights feel harder. Bad days seem heavier. You'll want to reach for someone to make it easier. But if you sit with those feelings instead of running, something shifts. You realize you can handle it. You don't need rescuing. You are capable of carrying yourself through the storm. The first time you feel that strength, you will never forget it. The Stoics championed this self-reliance. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Emotional independence is exactly that, mastering yourself. Not letting your mood swing with another's. Not letting your peace depend on a text reply. Not letting your happiness collapse because someone left. Consider how most people live. One bad argument ruins their week. One breakup destroys their self-worth. One cold text leaves them anxious for days. That isn't freedom. It's emotional slavery, usually because they never learned to stand strong alone. When you're single, you build that muscle. You learn to validate yourself without compliments. You learn to enjoy your day without waiting for approval. You learn to create joy from simple things: music, exercise, reading, silence. Your happiness begins to come from within, not from outside. Emotional independence doesn't make you cold or selfish. It makes you stable and steady. It allows you to love in a healthier way because you aren't asking another person to carry your emotional weight. You are already carrying yourself. Here is the paradox. When you don't need anyone to complete you, you have more love to give because it comes from fullness, not emptiness. You aren't clinging out of fear. You are choosing from strength. So, don't fear building emotional independence in your single season. It may feel lonely at times, but it's the kind of loneliness that trains, sharpens, and liberates you. That is the 9th truth. Staying single helps you build emotional independence. And once you've tasted that freedom, you will never again settle for a love that costs you your peace. 10. You become whole before sharing yourself. The most pervasive lie we are taught from childhood is that we need another person to complete us. Media, music, and even family often push the idea that you are only whole when you find your other half. It sounds romantic, but it is dangerously misleading. The moment you believe you are incomplete, you will spend your life chasing someone to fill a void instead of learning to stand complete on your own. When you're single, you have the chance to dismantle this lie. You learn that you are already enough. You don't need someone to validate your worth, give you an identity, or make your life meaningful. You are whole as you are. Embracing this truth changes everything. Consider how different your relationships become when you already feel whole. You don't enter them from desperation. You don't cling to avoid being alone. You don't contort yourself to keep others happy. Instead, you choose from abundance, not lack. You share yourself not because you're empty, but because you're overflowing. That is the healthiest form of love. A gift, not a transaction. The Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Happiness doesn't come from finding someone to complete you. It comes from realizing you were never broken to begin with. Staying single gives you the time and space to discover that. It takes work. You will face your insecurities and the parts of yourself you've hidden. But if you persist, if you do the inner work, you will find something unshakable on the other side. A wholeness that no breakup, rejection, or absence can destroy. Here is the paradox. When you finally feel whole on your own, you are truly ready to share yourself. Not because you need fixing, but because you want to walk beside someone as an equal. You can love deeply without fear, let people in without losing yourself, and give without secretly begging for something in return. That is real strength. So, do not rush into relationships to feel complete. Use your single season to build wholeness. Heal your wounds. Strengthen your weak spots. Discover the passions and values that define you. The more whole you become on your own, the better every other aspect of your life becomes. That is the 10th and final truth. Staying single allows you to become whole before sharing yourself. And when you do share, it won't be from emptiness. It will be from strength, freedom, and a love that cannot be shaken. The script concludes by summarizing the key arguments and delivering a final, empowering call to action. So let's bring it all together. Staying single is not a curse, a failure, or something to be ashamed of. It is a season of power, growth, and self-reclamation, a time to build yourself into someone unshakable. When you stay single, you avoid the wrong attachments that could drag you down. You protect your time, that one resource you can never get back. You build self-mastery without distractions. You guard your energy from toxic people. You learn to love your own company. You stop chasing validation. You grow stronger in solitude. You focus on your mission instead of pleasing others. You build emotional independence. And most importantly, you become whole before you ever share yourself with anyone else. That isn't weakness, it is strength. It is freedom. It is real power. The Stoics believed the good life comes from mastering yourself, not from depending on others. Once you learn to stand alone, you will never again settle for connections that make you small. You will only accept relationships that add to your life, not ones that take from it. So, if you are single right now, do not rush to escape it. Do not see it as a gap to fill. See it as a rare gift, a chance to become the strongest, clearest, most authentic version of yourself. The person who can stand alone without fear is the one who can stand anywhere with anyone and never lose themselves. Now it is your turn. Ask yourself tonight, am I running from solitude or am I growing within it? That question could change everything. If this message resonated with you, subscribe now. This journey does not end here. We are building a community where strength, freedom, and self-mastery come first, and I want you to be a part of it.